This is the Group 3 History assignment with Kate, Abigail, Macy, and Olivia. In this one, we'll be talking about power and how certain people or certain parties repressed their opponents or attracted support. So the Soviet Union's first. The Soviet Union, specifically Stalin, became part of the power system by moving up in the party system to Central Committee Secretary before Lenin had a stroke, so he was situated into the party before Lenin could say otherwise. Stalin preached a socialist society so that they could thrive as a country, while the rest of the capitalist countries suffered from the Great Depression. He thought that he could survive by being socialist society, and he preached it, and people believed it. Another way he attracted support was he turned his own party members against each other, and constantly preached about against Trotsky's ideas, but then used Trotsky's ideas in his actual plan. And he also, or at least Russia, also aligned with Cuba as a Cold War ally, and it became a symbol of military, economic, and political acceptance, where they agreed to work together. But Stalin also repressed a lot of his opponents. One thing he did was he used Photoshop to remove or add people into his photos to seem like he was a part of something, or to seem like this person had disappeared from existence after he had killed them. He also was against the White Movement Party, but that was a different thing. Then the Great Purge or the Great Terror happened, where he did a mass killing or sending to the gulags to get rid of anyone who he thought was a threat, anyone in the party that may rise to any power that could potentially take him down. Then there's also the Ryutin affair and the Kirkov affair. And Ryutin published a book about how he didn't agree with Stalin's views and how he figured that his communist ideas or his social ideas were bad. And then after that, Stalin banned him from the country, I believe, and he was tried on treason for speaking out against Stalin. And then the Kirkov affair, Kirkov disagreed with his industrialization ideas, and so he got assassinated, but of course Stalin said that the person who assassinated him, because it wasn't Stalin, wanted to overthrow communism, and that's why he was assassinated. And then Kamenev and Yemenev supported him, but then they combined with Trotsky after they found out that that Stalin didn't actually align with the views he said he did, and so because of the combination of Kamenev, Yemenev, and Trotsky, Stalin could call out them as forming a faction against the leader, which was illegal, a law that they had made previously. Germany. So Germany attracted people by basically crapping on the Communist Party. So communism was an anti-nationalism, anti-socialism, and anti-religion, anti-private property, but Nazis weren't, and they were like, we believe in nationalism, we need to make Germany the best, we believe in social classes, you can still exercise your religion and keep private property. And that was a huge aspect of life because they had been used to that previously. Nazi propaganda was also a huge thing. If you've ever seen one of Hitler's videos, propaganda videos, he has people lined up in straight lines, responding synchronized to the leader and always listening to him. He's usually rise up on a high platform and he's looking down on his people, and they're all soldiers who are steadfast and ready for him to give them an order. That's huge to get popularity. It showed unification, and it allowed Germany to believe that he was actually supported. And then Hitler was tried for treason, which might not seem like a way to attract support, but in this way, people got to know like who he was, which was really important because if they hadn't known who he was and what he stood for, they would never have backed him. So getting tried for treason was probably the best thing he could have done. And then in prison, he wrote this book called Mein Kampf, which is My Struggles, about his life struggles and his views on policies. But then he also used anti-Semitic views to further get support for people who already felt those views. But that was another reason, or that was another thing where he repressed people. So to repress his opponents, he called Slavs subhuman and denounced them. And he was very anti-Semitic, which was huge in repressing the Jewish culture from spreading. He also marginalized women with phrases like children, children, kitchen, church, to try and get women to be put into a place where they couldn't attack the party or like add anything to the party. He also made the Nuremberg laws, which disenfranchised all Jews, and he encourages racism, imperialism, and conservatism, which got support because it showed Germany could be like open-minded in the way of speaking their mind about how they hated people, which was really supported then after communism had come in. China. So Mao Zedong became a leader after he was run off from another party, and he had to flee through the mountainside to avoid them. And in doing so, he began to rally support from the poor people living in the mountains and the countryside, who believed that everyone should have an equal chance because they were the hardworking class and they deserved it. So he focused on that to attract support. He also tried to use the spread of Marxism as a way of, as defining it as against, he characterized Marxism as against Western culture, which sounds confusing, but it worked.